So, how much technology do you use in your courses?
They're all at the core technology based. So there's central technology central to the courses. I don't teach in a classroom. I teach online all my classes in iMeet, and they're very interactive these days. I have found a lot of ways to keep my students on their toes throughout the entire online experience. So I am pretty sure that these days I am able to give a better learning experience using iMeet than in a regular classroom. And probably I should add that it's probably something that has to do a lot with that is the area that I teach in. Since everything that I teach is based on computers, the use of computers to teach is almost like a perfect match. It would be different if I'm teaching history or music, but when it comes to the teaching of ICT literacy, this is the best environment for me.
Okay, so I think this question maybe leads to the next question is, what are the main reasons for using the technology that you use? But also if you could explain a little bit more detail what do you use, explain to people that may not know what Illuminate is and how do you use it.
Okay, there are four main technologies that I use. In 1999 I started using video recordings of computers, of screen captures. I made a program that would teach students how to program Director, lingo for Director, and since then I haven't stopped doing videos for instruction. My videos do not replace class. I'm lecturing during the videos, and I am making my students take their own time to watch the lecture, and then they come to my classes inside the virtual environment where we all interact like in a real classroom, and we just interact about what the lecture was about. So in a way I'm doubling the time that students have to be exposed with each piece of media, and that is one of my the things that I have learned since I started using this type of technology. The second technology that I use a lot are iMeet, which is a virtual environment that works like a classroom. You can see each other, you can hear each other, you have simultaneous voices and images being transmitted. And there are also many other resources inside of iMeet that facilitates a class. So even though we are all located in different areas of the country, or the state, because I also track that with Google Analytics, part of what takes place in the classroom online is fascinating because we're not limited by our geography by far. Another technology that I'm been using a lot, and I've been teaching this at the Center for Teaching and Learning, is wikis. I am a believer, a very strong believer in crowdsourcing. There's nothing like tapping into tens or hundreds of intellects at once, like that. And being able to use wikis in this regard facilitates certain pedagogical structures. For example, I asked a question about what was that I asked the other day? It was a very specific question about copyright in online environments. Anyhow, I would just tell what it is about. And I didn't have the answer, and I asked my students, let's all go search for this right now. It was a matter of 2 minutes in which I had very precise answers to everything that the group wanted to know. So I have mentioned video screen capturing, iMeet, wikis, and I think I'm starting to use Google Documents a lot. For example, nowadays in my research projects, everyone has to upload everything to Google Documents, including the PDFs of the research articles that they're using for that specific paper. So there's no me going, because my field moves so quickly, I don't know, I cannot keep up. So it is very easy for me, go read the document in Google Document, click on links that lead me to PDFs with actual academic papers in them that were extracted from our own databases, and they're not public, they're just, shared with me. And then it is very easy for me to see what they're saying, where they grab this information. Maybe I agree, maybe I don't agree. The construction of a research paper changes big time because I'm incorporating everything in the cloud, and everything is at the click of a button.
Wonderful.
I think that I do all of that.
It's incredible, really.
And there's one more thing that is very important that I'm pursuing big time, and like gave me goosebumps a few moments ago when I was describing it to a colleague. I am very interested in developing further the process of crowdsourcing grading. There are certain types of grading that can be crowdsourced. That is, you ask the students to participate in the evaluation of everyone else's work. Obviously, there's a subjectivity there, and there's some knowledge that the professor brings to the table that any student doesn't have. But, for example, imagine that everybody did a homework following a specific set of rubrics. Later on, you can grab those rubrics, put it in an online Google form, and ask everyone in the class to evaluate someone else based on those rubrics. So this has become so good because I can set up the pace of the class. So every week, for example, in the digital media one, every week we have an individual multimedia product that comes out of it. Every week we engage into the competition. Every week we have a winner. This is an ongoing process, and crowdsourcing of that, the evaluation process is crowdsourced, and I am getting better and better at getting meaningful results out of these.
Have you assessed the effectiveness of any of these pieces of technology in student learning?
Yes. Using another Google form for many years, I have been doing a very specific homework by homework evaluation of everything that I do. So when I put my file up for promotion, it was not only the information, the data that was gathered by the college, but also an extraordinary amount of data gathered by me in a very precise, I call it granular way, lesson by lesson, what's working and what's not. Students anonymously fill out these forms every semester, and I know what lessons are not working, which ones are working. So I have a very specific method to keep this evaluation process. Then I use Google Analytics for certain things. For example, am I developing my videos well? Well, what is the size of the average screen in my classes? I can tell you that precisely. What is the #1 browser? I can tell you that. So it is very easy for me to know the technical parts and how to create for those.
Is there some lesson? What do you have liked to know when you started using some piece of technology before, that took you a long time, and maybe piece of advice that you would give to others then?
New media is fairly new. None of us who have PhDs, except a few of us, were trained in ICT literacy. So what we need to, probably the recommendation I have to give to everyone is, you don't get it right the first time. And that is perfect because you learn. You learn what worked, what didn't work, and there's nothing but a process of improvement that goes on constantly, in which you fail many times in what you think you are going to deliver certain type of technological solution. It didn't work. It's time to find out why and then do it again. And there's no pressure whatsoever in me or you because it didn't work. It's the process of getting involved and learning, and then that's how you get better and better and better.
Okay. Have you ever been excited about a piece of technology for teaching, but found it not effective in practice?
Wikis. Wikis, when they started, conceptually it was not easy for people to understand how they were able to edit the same document at the same time. Who was the author? Who will write first? You on top or me on top? Or you're the So wikis failed at the beginning. So I tried to implement them. No input from students, no collaboration as it was predicted. So it was until later on that I started pushing my students into doing tasks on the wiki that I was able to start gaining some of the affordances, the positive affordances of wikis. But my first try to wikis was pretty bad.
What are you most proud of about your teaching?
In the PhD program, I learned to be an objective observer. And often I find that the discussions regarding the use of technology in learning have slants that are technophobic or technophilic. And And what I have done that it seems to be very well is to really objectively, even though I spent an entire summer working on a technology solution, if it didn't work, it didn't. And so I think that the most proud part of it is that I am being truthful to my PhD program and my scientific training, and I am fighting hard for not letting my technophilia, because I am a techno, affect my evaluation of the learning outcome.